Hello everyone and happy Friday. Welcome back to another day of LCS Academy. Our summer split has had a fantastic start so far and we're close to the weekend. It's a good time all around. My name is Sierra Dawn, your host for today, joined yet again with these two lovely individuals. I'm still enjoying talking to you two, Joshi, Deserex, even though we've been talking together like every day for hours, but it's been fun, Joshi. I've enjoyed our time on the desk together.
Yeah, it's been nice. We got our first Super Week going last split. We only had 2 of these this season. We're going to have so many more, so we're going to have a lot more time to get to know us all really well, and it's going to be a great time.
It really is, Deserex. How is the Super Week first week of Academy been for you?
It feels good. It feels very good, especially with some of the games we're getting and seeing the talent that's come up from the Proving Grounds pipeline into this split of summer. It always has me excited.
Definitely. Before we get too far along with Academy stuff, though, do want to talk a little bit about Champions Queue, because that is something that's always interesting to keep tabs on, exactly where players might be falling on this, who we can see in first place. And we can see we were in that first place spot, but I'm kind of eyeing up that fourth place spot here, Joshi.
Yeah, Mia is the highest ranked Academy player in Champions Queue at this point, but we gotta remind people that it has changed formats a little bit. It's not just the +10 every victory, -5 for every loss. So you don't just get points by racking up a ton of games. So with that in mind, we actually have 5 players currently in the top 24 Academy. TSM's Mia, Golden Guardians Chime, Armeo, Dignitas' Insanity, and of course Yan, all as your top 5 Academy players currently in Champions Queue. And seeing that we still have a lot of individual talent still playing at this level is really exciting. We know that last time around, players like Jojo, Pion, and Dokla were some of our highest performances in the Champions Queue, and these guys are now playing on the international stage. Dokla recently moved up, so it's definitely a way to get good practice.
Yeah, being able to just find it out in Champions Queue, and the fact that TSM Mia is there too. TSM's been having some fun games over here in Academy so far. Maybe not the necessarily desired result for a couple of them, but the showdown they had against Dignitas yesterday, we're starting the season off hot. If you missed this game, we have a little bit of highlights, but I recommend you that you still just go back and watch the entire game because it was an absolute banger, Deserex. And I don't use that word lightly.
Yeah. This game was amazing. If you're an Academy fan, you have to watch this. TSM, what they had on display here today was something that was more mature when it came to understanding lane states, when it came to manipulating those lane states. Dignitas just brought the raw skill, and they brought Insanity, as well as some slip-ups coming up from the fact that TSM are more of a newer team. You know, you've only got a few people there who've only been there for like 1 or 2 splits. You know, you saw those kind of hiccups come in. Hyper came in going for an engage without Soul's Ornhorn being up. It ended up losing TSM a fight. That's what resulted in that game 1 loss. And also, Dignitas, my God, XU on Kindred put on a clinic on what it means to take a counter pick, playing the Kindred into the Wukong, being able to acquire all the marks, deny so much jungle. It was a brilliant display out of Dignitas and a banger game between both of those two teams.
Yeah, let's get those highlights rolling. Enough of a teaser. I want to see some of these moments that we had going on because this was just fun all around, Joshi.
Yeah, it was an incredibly dynamic game between these two teams, and that's kind of what you expect to see. We knew Dignitas as this coin flippy team last time around. They would either get really far ahead off of XU early on in the game, or they kind of didn't have a whole lot of steam, but this is a more mature version of it. They brought in Insanity to be this more veteran leadership role on the team, and it's been looking really good. They're having more opportunities to try and take the game later, and we know TSM, they have a ton of raw talent, but they don't necessarily have the same kind of just raw leadership coming through, and that's ends up leading to an incredibly exciting version of League of Legends where everybody's trying to find individual outplays.
Yeah, I mean, even just I'm listening, but I'm also just watching back this clip because every single time my eyes are it was a great time. It was a great game, and Insanity had some thoughts about it as well. Of course, checking up on the socials and what our players are saying is always a highlight going into this. Look at this. There are some words. There are some fighting words here. They're coming for you, Desrex. I like the confidence.
I like it. I want to see more of it. Banter in NA is amazing. You know, we kind of seen JoJo do it over at Evil Geniuses. More of it, man. Bring this banter and bring the trash talk, and it's healthy for the ecosystem.
Well, it wasn't it. We got a little bit of chain of tweets here too. So heading into the next one, I mean, there's always the opportunity for people to be to fire back, right? If you're gonna talk, you might get something in return. Xmithy going for that nice try, bud. You think you're ready? Spoilers, you're not.
Yeah. When you start seeing this kind of thing, like, we know that Insanity is a bit of a trash talk. Like, he was part of that same Team Liquid squad that Eric and I first got to know several years ago at this point, and both of them were just ready to fire off on camera. But Xmithy, I never really knew him as a bit of a trash talker, so seeing Insanity kind of bring that energy and get other people to retort back to him, that's always going to be exciting as well. And when we see Xmithy starting to get fired up for all these games, it means that the audience better be ready too.
All right, and of course, we do have the conclusion of all the tweets as well. Of course, Smithy got the words in, but Insanity, I mean, they got the 2-0. There was some choice words about this 2-0. I'm excited to see how that's going to translate into today with Insanity, and of course the rest of Dignitas going up against 100 Thieves. But we had a chance to talk, well, we didn't get a chance to talk. We got a chance to hear from the rest of Dignitas as well, their thoughts after the exciting games that they had yesterday. A little bit of clips, a little bit of interviews. Let's check out what they had to say.
I mean, we're feeling good. You know, we're almost there for the 6-0, just 2 more.
All right, let's go. All right, Juan, 4-0 today. How do you feel?
Tired. Tired, Toby.
But feel good though, right?
It's a good feeling, but long game. Ready to take a nap.
Hey, David, so 4-0, Vic. 4-0 today. How do you feel?
Expected, once again. Just feeling good.
That's good, that's good. Deos, how do you feel? Coach
Free
Deos?
SM, baby. Free SM.
Let's go.
I said it.
All right, Lawrence, 4-0 today. How do you feel?
It's a painful 4-0. Long grind, but it's okay. I'm pretty happy.
Free SM. Joshi, how are we feeling about that call?
See, I'm just surprised at the dichotomy, right? On Twitter, you see Insanity David coming out and saying, yeah, no, this game was effing boring. And then everybody in the actual game is like, yo, that was a grind. That game took forever. It was 40+ minutes. Let's just calm down a little bit. So we'll see if we get the same kind of thing going up in their games today, because when you play those long games, it is absolutely tiring. And luckily, this is their last series before they have a weekend to at least take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't the only one with long games, though. Immortals also had a couple of long games on their hands, and this was the first series as well that didn't end in a 2-0, but instead a 1-1 scoreline. So we're going to hear from Arrow as part of a little bit of their Immortals React series that they have going on. Let's go.
To finish our academy match against the 100 Academy, it was 1-1, but we should have won, I believe, the last game, but we drew it. I think we are pretty decent, or our performance was fine, but it's like we're having fun too much sometimes. I don't know, I feel like we're being we're being a horny dog. It just, we're not human. we are being a dog and oof, I wanna fight or something. So we make a mistake, those one on the stage, and then we just lose the game of it. So yeah, let's be human. That's my reaction.
Woof woof.
I love Arrow. Arrow's hilarious. That's all I have to say. I like that we get that little reaction series coming out from Immortals as well, because that's you get to hear from the players even after a loss. It's a good time. Though I do agree that there was that confidence they went into it, this like game kind of messing around, because their first game that they had yesterday, Immortals, they confident. They kind of seemed like they were playing a bit, Deserex.
Yeah, I mean, well, it was, I believe, the first game or the second game where Tenacity just put on a clinic? I believe it was the second game in the top lane where you had Tenacity up there, getting that Flame Horizon against Vital, trying to send him to school at the end of it all. It was a good thing to see Will start to pop off as well. We've been waiting for that big moment as he's on 100 Thieves, and I think 100 Thieves all came together pretty well for that second game and readjusted after that loss to Immortals in game 1.
Yeah, and that's what we like to see too. The adjustments, players being able to step up and pop off in their own rights. And I know something that we talked about at length yesterday was players that we were watching heading into summer who we were kind of keeping our eyes on. And we weren't the only ones that got a say in the discussion. We took to Twitter to ask viewers what they were also thinking about players to watch into this. First off, coming from EG Academy updates, UG Deserex saying that he's taken the step, best academy jungle. How are you feeling about this?
You know what? Yuji in the spring season was a little bit more predictable. He would always path towards the bot lane, but this meta benefits him on that. If you're looking what's going on, what's popular in the bot lane? Lucian Nami. What's popular in the bot lane? Callista Renata. Yuji pathing down there means he's always pathing down the action, so I can see why that would be his pick.
Yeah, we also have to remember that he kind of sucked at the beginning of spring, right? He didn't really know what he was doing, but he found his confidence about halfway through. He started bringing out the Kiana jungle. He started understanding that he could be a little bit more patient with some of the plays that he was going for, and it really allowed him to turn on. And if we see another kind of jump in his ability to play throughout summer, I could very easily see him overtake some of the other big names who are currently playing in the academy scene, but he just has to actually find his footing.
All right. Now heading to the next player that our viewers are watching, coming from Steeks, actually talking about Meech, which Meech is someone that I'm excited to see as just not on my list of players to watch yet, since I haven't gotten a chance to watch him play in summer yet, Joshi.
Yeah, I know, monkey see, monkey do. But the big thing about this, right, we got Mystiques coming through. Everybody who's watching should remember that he was part of the rosters in Academy last year. He's going to have an opportunity to continue watching, and we know that importing him, he's gone back over to Europe and said, yeah, these guys are pretty good. You should definitely keep an eye out on them. Some of them will be playing on the international stage at some point. So the fact that he is now saying that Meech is one of the players to watch has got to be some big props.
Yeah, that's a really big vouch coming out from Mystiques here. Rolling along through our players, though. The next one coming from TDS Cast. Couple that they like. Have to go with one. It has to be Array. And Azrex, this is someone that you've also talked about at large.
I've talked way too much about Action Jackson, man. He's a very, very good marksman. What else can I really say about it? You know, during his time on 100 Thieves X, he showed how prominent he can be on stuff like Aphelios, on Jinx, on Zeri. I've watched his growth all the way from University of St. Thomas to 100 Thieves Next, and now debuting in Academy. It's so exciting to see him.
That's awesome. Love to see the talent coming up here. Next player. So he goes every game until back in LCS. Coming out from Top Good Me Bad. Love the username, by the way, Joshi. How we feeling about this one?
Yeah, so Ligo's definitely an interesting character, right? He played in LCS before, he's trying to find his way back, and we know that he had a couple stumbling blocks during the spring because he was looking for opportunities to be the leader for his team. He was expecting to be the big veteran, the kind of shot caller that we often look to, but because he was spending so much of his mental bandwidth trying to move his pieces around the board, he kind of let some of his smaller parts go where he wasn't necessarily focusing on what he was doing quite as much, and we definitely saw some struggles because of it. Now that they have Smoothie playing with them, they have more opportunity to focus on what they're actually doing, and this could be an opportunity for Soligo to show us why he earned the LCS spot in the first place.
Okay, I like it. A little bit of proving that you deserve to have the spot back. Let's go. Coming out from Sarin Squidmaid, Soul, and Deserx, I know that you're excited about this pick.
Yeah, definitely excited because I watched Seoul come up back in fall on the Unified Premier League. There were two top laners who really stood out. One was my bud from Winthrop. If you saw CLL yesterday, he was playing. Another one, Anime Girl. Anime Girl would go on an arc all the way to, I believe it was Immortals AoE, perform there and Proving Grounds, and get noticed right away. Had to change the name to Soul, not going to be Anime Girl anymore, but definitely a very exciting prospect.
Definitely, and I mean, seen from Soul has been good so far. And
I'm just sad that he didn't change his name to Waifu. Like, I feel like that's the next best.
I don't think that's better. I don't think that's better or allowed. I'm not sure. I don't know how the naming rules go. Finally, coming out from Metro Falco, we have XU. This was also Kelsey's pick. Joshi, tell us why.
Yeah, XU has definitely been one of the players that we were very excited to watch. He was in the conversation for the most valuable prospect discussion that we had at the end of last season, and it's because we think that if this player gets enough experience, if he starts figuring out how to play a more controlled style as well as the very aggressive timing-based attacks that he often goes for, there's great ways for XU to start learning how to be the LCS jungler. And we know he has hands, he just needs to make sure he can find people to help him understand where to be on the map, and Insanity can definitely level up his play.
All right. A lot of players to be keeping our eyes out for. I love that that's the talent that we have in Academy right now, that we can all have our thoughts, but viewers all have, like, okay, there's 1.5 million players to be looking out for and who we're looking to see move up and advance into LCS, which is amazing. But time for the next little part of this. We talked about who we're excited about yesterday. Now it's time to talk about our maybe outlandish claims or how we think summer...
Completely true.
Completely, yeah, right. How we think summer's gonna be going down. Week 1, completely accurate claims. Okay, overreactions. Who wants to go first on this one?
I'll go first. I think mine might be the most accurate, obviously. I'm pretty convinced that Evil Geniuses, by the end of the split, will be a top 3 team. The way that they've been looking so far hasn't necessarily gelled, right? Kaori and Smoothie still dropping some laning phases that probably shouldn't. But we know that there's a ton of talent. Kaori was one of the best players, the best marksman in the league during spring. Smoothie coming in as a veteran, definitely leveling up where their support role was previously. And as they start to figure out their laning phase and build that synergy, they're going to start smashing. They're not only going to start smashing, they're going to allow Soligo to also look even better, right? That's one of the players that we were looking at who just needed a little bit more time, somebody else to kind of take control of the map. And if you have a strong mid lane, one of the best bot lanes in the league, and Surdu, who we know has plans to eventually go to LCS, this team is going to be really scary.
You know, that's fun and all, Josh. Like, good analysis and everything, but get out of here. 100 Thieves Academy are going to be the big one and likely going to take this entire title. I mean, you saw Will. Sure, they had a rough start, but the moment they get a win, you go check their socials. Will is out there flexing bicep right out. This bicep's only going to be booming, baby. They will take Team Liquid to the finals, and that's going to another Game 5, but this time it's going to be 100 Thieves taking it.
I mean, you're talking about taking Team Liquid to the finals. I think Team Liquid is going to be the Titans that we've known them to be, but in a new way. Team Liquid not going to drop a game all split. That is my claim. And I don't think that if Desert, even if 100 Thieves make it to finals, there's no way that Team Liquid's even going to drop a game there. They're going all the way. There is no day that I'm ever going to be betting against Caleb.
It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong.
That's what I can say for you.
I don't know if we've ever had an Academy team even have more than like a 70% win rate during the regular season, right? Typically, it's so tight. There's a big argument whether it's the Clump or the Blob last time, right? Where we had like basically a tie between 4th and 8th, right? So many teams just super tight in the middle. But Team Liquid, they definitely are head and shoulders above. Now, undefeated, that's a tall order. We'll see if they're up to the task.
Hey, that's the name of this segment, all right? I don't want you criticizing me on saying there's tall orders here, okay? I see you.
Yeah, right.
I see you, Joshi. Come on. But anyone else who wants to make their outlandish claims, their overreactions, or maybe have some opinions of your own, make sure to let us know past the LCS, because maybe next week we'll be able to talk about your outlandish predictions headed over on stream. And I mean,
looking at you,
hey, you never know. Maybe summer history can be made and we'll have a team go over a 70% win rate, Yoshi. It could happen.
You never know. Good. But I know Parth, worked with TSM for a long time. He's been putting his controversial takes out on Twitter, 1 per day. I want to see at least one about Academy before it's all over.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Well, for the teams to maybe go undefeated, we have to watch them first. So we're going to pull up the schedule, what we can expect going on into today over on the Academy channel, twitch.tv/Academy, if you want to go hang out with them. They're going to have 3 matches going on during today. Over here, we have our own fun matchups we're going to be focusing on, starting with Evil Geniuses up against GG, and then finishing off with Dignitas up against 100 Thieves. So twitch.tv path to LCS. It should be a lot of fun. And then of course, for today and through the rest of the Academy season, if you want to be updated with the socials on what is happening over with Academy, make sure you're always up to date with who's playing when and interact. Let us know what you're thinking. You can do so at Path to LCS for more updates. We'd love to hear from you. We want to hype up these academy teams. That's what this is all about. So, good stuff, but time to finally start talking about our first matchup for today. Evil Geniuses up against Golden Guardians. And these are two teams that have some really strong players. I mean, there's a couple of these players, too, that were on our ones to watch coming out from our viewers. I'm looking at Sleo over on Evil Geniuses here, and I feel like with every game is another chance for these players to prove themselves here. It should be great headed into the game. And pulling up the roster, starting off with Evil Geniuses, Joshi, who else are we really looking at?
I mean, you got to pay attention to the bottom lane, right? Carry was... Oop, this is Golden Guardians, but we'll get back
we're
to
starting
that.
with Golden Guardians.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right, we'll switch over. We'll talk about Evil Geniuses in just a moment. Golden Guardians, they're still playing with their coaches coming in, and we know that this is not the version of Golden Guardians that they are hoping to play with towards the rest of the season. But for now, it is what they got, and we got to say... It's not looking too hot, right? They are struggling to find their wins right now, but as they start to mesh, as they start to bring in their new players, things are very likely to change.
I definitely now headed over to the Evil Geniuses roster. I was getting a little ahead of myself here.
We can do it.
We can do it. We can do it. We're heading over into this Evil Geniuses. Well, going to this Evil Geniuses roster, we're going to talk about these teams, because I want to talk a little bit more about these players, Deserix, and exactly where we can expect that they're heading into today's match.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about Evil Geniuses. We're waiting for them to kind of mend together, because Joshi had this whole analysis on how they're going to grow over time, right? I think there's a lot of truth to that. Right now, we're waiting for those pieces to come together. We're waiting for that voice of Smoothie to start to take an effect. They're not just coming in to a new leadership, though. They're coming into a new patch, so it's a lot to adjust to at once, but with the talent you have, Surdy, Tomio, this bot lane powerhouse of Kaori and Smoothie, there's a lot of potential for growth over the course of this season.
Yeah, and then heading into today's matchup, a specific area that we're going to be looking at is going to be this top lane, starting with Concept. Concept's a fun player because out on the Rift, sometimes just decides to go where he pleases, Joshi.
Yeah, Concept has always been a very strong player who really goes outside the meta and plays kind of whatever he wants, but that's actually changed quite a bit this time around. He's not necessarily playing Damundo. He hasn't really been playing the Cinch. He's actually been playing more meta. Wukong, Gwen, Ornn, Gangplank, all of these are, I would argue, top 4, top 5 characters in what we've currently seen. But the big thing we got to remember is last season, or during spring, Concept had Surdy's number every single time they went head-to-head. Concept was winning out, and even though we don't get to see the actual kill, we already know what happened. He just gets bonked over the head, and the little field mouse just goes running back to base.
That's so juicy right there. Having content of the matchup we're about to experience and Concept taking the kill. My goodness, dude.
I mean, if you're looking for kills too, the next clip with who Concept's going to be facing off in Surdy, that one should go in. And this was a solo kill. It actually happened yesterday, Deserix. So a very current timestamp of what Surdy is able to offer out on the Rift.
Yeah, and keep in mind, Surdy did this to Bradley, someone who has been phenomenal when it comes to Team Liquid and filling in that top lane role, being such a team player. Surdy, look how low his health is. He just heals up with that pot at the last second, but it shows you what Surdy has been coming up to. You know, he's very, very driven. He's definitely one of the players that we're taking a closer look at coming into Academy for fitting that tagline of who is going to be next. So I think this is a hot matchup right here.
Yeah, and we know that Surdy has had a lot of opportunity to kind of mesh with the rest of the team. He, had a famous quote amongst the Academy casters where he's saying, "I am stability," every single day, trying to make sure that he can stay mentally strong. But we also know that he's been working quite a bit. When I was talking to him, he was saying he's trying to better understand his role on every team. He doesn't have to just gap the opposing top laner every single time, but sometimes you just need that solid rock up in the top lane. You don't need somebody to be winning the lane as long as they're going to be relevant during the fights later on. And so we'll see what version of Surdy we're actually going to be getting today, because he's got such a wide champion pool. He's not locked into something right at the beginning of the day.
Okay, and then that's going to be a fire matchup that we're going to see, but not the only matchup out here. Acadian is someone, Golden Guardians, definitely keeping our eyes on transitioning back into this role, and that's going to be a face-off against Homeo for this matchup. Deserix, how do we think this is going to go?
This is a tough one for me to really call at the moment because we're still waiting for the entire roster of Golden Guardians to come together. So Acadian is still trying to find his flow with this roster, but I would like to see Acadian more towards the bottom lane, and same thing with Tomio. We've already talked about how explosive the bot lane is. While Acadian is a very smart and experienced jungler, if you can get that tracking on Tomio, we could have something much more potentially deadly going on for Golden Guardians. But again, Tomio is someone who likes to scrap a lot, so you have to keep a close eye on him, because if you are not tracking him, he will be fighting and taking down your bot lane.
Yeah, we know that Tomio at his best is absolutely wild on the map, constantly looking to make plays, having a ton of confidence, pushing everybody around. But going up against Acadian is going to be a very tough task, right? We've talked before when he was playing up against Armea. Acadian is one of the players that has had a lot of time to play in LCS. He's got a lot of experience, and he still has the confidence necessary to actually go for all these plays. Even though they haven't been working so far in the past couple of matchups that they've had, we know that he's still trying to make things happen. And going up against Tomio, Tomio needs to make sure that he can continue to have the confidence in order to try and challenge that.
Okay. And with the game just around the corner, I know we talked about our outlandish claims for the entirety of the summer split. I want a quick outlandish claim from both of you of what we're expecting from this matchup that we have ahead of us. Not something way down the line, what we're about to see in these next two games. Joshi, we'll start with you.
Okay, something a little bit outlandish. Serdy's gonna gap concept. It's not even gonna be close. He's probably gonna get like 3 solo kills to Bradley yesterday. I can't imagine he will get anything fewer than 3 solo kills between the 2 games.
Okay. I like it. And this is also, with these outlandish claims, an opportunity for you to say something outlandish that if it actually happens by any means, that you seem like the absolute biggest brain genius out there. So I'm helping you out. Deserex, what about your claim?
My claim is going to go around Array. He's going to get a pentakill this game. It is Action Jackson.
Oh.
I'm excited for him. I want to see him play. He's already a very, very consistent ADC. That's what got that's what got him noticed. Even in the games where Golden Guardians are losing, he's still getting multiple kills. I think it's the pentakill time. It's the first week. Why not start off Academy with a penta?
Oh, well, that would definitely be a way to start it off. That's for sure. I don't know. These are some pretty big claims. We'll see what happens. It is time for the champ select. It's time to head into the game. I'll catch up with you two later.
Bye, Sierra.
Feels like the teacher is leaving and just the class is just left over, and it's like, bye. Okay, time to pull out the decks of cards and not actually do any of the homework you assigned us.
Yeah, but you got to do it underneath your desk so you can have the quick escape and hide it in your pocket.
Yeah, we'll see what we got going on today. Remember, these two teams are both 0-4. Eric, we haven't talked about this yet. One of these teams is guaranteed their first win of the season.
Are they? Are they, Josh?
Yes.
Can something not go awry right now? Are we going to have a disconnect and just keep them permanently stuck at this 0-4?
It's not going to be going awry when it's going to be going array. He's going to get that pentakill, remember?
You already got me and we just started, Josh. Why are you doing this?
It's a good day. But, okay, so we got to pay attention a little bit to the bottom lane, right? Because you've been complaining about how boring the fact that we get these handshake bottom lanes every single time. This time, we have to note that Kalista is by far the most played AD carry between these two. Both Carry and Array have pulled it out twice so far this season. They've only had 4 games to do it. So already Golden Guardians taking it off the table says that they don't want to go for that handshake of Kalista Renata versus Senna Tom Kench or Lucian Nami or whatever other bottom lane that you can pick to fight.
Takes away a good amount of priority from that Renata that's been just as contested as Kalista, as they've been taken as a pair multiple times. The jungle role is going to be attacked by Evil Geniuses. They are going straight for the Lilia, going straight for the Talia, which can flex into the mid lane. I'm not sure if Choose does play it, but Acadian, definitely. Let's see what comes out next, what they're looking for. Okay, so the Fiora ban going away. They saw what happened before, what Fiora can do. One more ban for EG.
Yeah, it's definitely a situation where we know that there's a lot of shared champions between Serdy and Concept. That wasn't true last split, but now you have the Gwen, you have the Ornn, you have the Gangplank that both of them are able to pull out at a moment's notice. And Evil Geniuses kind of have to decide what they want to do. They do have counter pick that they can fall back upon if they want it, but we have another bot lane taken off the table. So now that Kalista plus Renata and Lucian plus Nami are gone, we're kind of moving over towards, the Ezreal Karmas, the Senna Tom Kenches, lots of different things can still come through, but the Wukong is still the #1 champion in the game. I think it's going to get picked here.
Yeah, you should expect the Wukong to go through. If not, it should be counter-picked right immediately after. Okay, so Gwen getting locked in for concept. You could potentially flex that around, but Evil Geniuses... Okay, this still leaves the Wukong on the table. Expecting that to be grabbed, yeah. If one team's not going to grab it, the other will put it in their pocket.
Mistake. Yeah, we know that the Gwen has been played both by Concept and Acadian already. The Wukong has been played by... Actually, hasn't been played by Sturdy, but it has been played by Tomio so far this season. And going for the Ezreal, you almost guaranteed are going to be having a Karma alongside that. But that means that Golden Guardians, knowing that there's a heavy poke, but not necessarily the same kind of raw damage potential coming out from Evil Geniuses, they might be going for things like the... What do you call it? The Kaisa Bart that they went for previously. Something a little bit off kilter, but something they still had success against.
And for a lot of these drafts, the focus has been grabbing the bot lane as soon as possible in the first phase of the draft. And then grabbing your jungle alongside that, given the value of the jungle pool, how heavily it's swayed towards Wukong. But Senna grabbed. I'm still looking for that Tahm Kench pick you were talking about a little bit earlier. Waiting for that pairing.
The only other thing that we've seen Senna paired with, I believe, so far has been Jhin, and that wasn't the most impressive thing in the world, but the Senna Tahm Kench, very standard. I feel like we're going to get a lot of these standard pairings, but instead, Acadian likely going to be picking up this Graves. He hasn't played it yet so far this season, but it has been very popular by Will in particular, and it's got a lot of flexibility, right? You have the front line with the Gore Drinker. You can go with the Eclipse, and of course, the crit has kind of fallen off, but there's a lot of different ways that you can actually play this character in order to try and make it either a damage threat or a frontliner, and you definitely need to have that when you're playing for Golden Guardians against something like the Ezreal Karma.
This does give EG a moment to ban away the Tahm Kench to deny that duo if they want to, but they do have a very hard shoving duo in both this Karma and the Ezreal, and there's the Tahm Kench ban.
Yeah, and you don't need to play it alongside the Tahm Kench either, right? Senna is a very versatile. You can play it as a support. So I like the fact that Golden Guardians aren't forcing through anything right now. They want to allow Chime to have a bit more freedom to pick what he actually wants to play. This is a little bit interesting. I was talking to Surdy as well about what he thinks about the top lane. He says it's less of a carry role now. It's harder to 1v1, just win your lane and force your lane opponent out. And so he's saying things like the Jason Renekton are less popular, but that doesn't mean he can't play them. And with his champion pool getting pinched a little bit, he will have to decide if he wants to take this Wukong or if he wants to go with something entirely different.
And stuff like the Renekton was very, very popular for him in the last spring season. I had read the tweet you were talking about just a little bit ago, where he is talking about how top lane is much more self-sufficient. There's much more of a focus on scaling. So we'll see how that shapes up, because solo lane yet to be picked up, still into consideration as we head into the second phase of the draft.
Yeah, having seen the Jhin banned away is a little bit interesting. We did see that pairing and wants to make sure that they put the Senna into a fasting spot without the range champion to go along with it. So it feels like Evil Geniuses are very comfortable with what it is that they're trying to look for. We have seen this Yone go through, and it is going to get locked in. I believe the only other time we've seen it so far was actually played by Vital. And
Vital and Immortals,
yeah, I mean, he looked pretty decent on it. Even though he didn't have the best laning phase, it was still very powerful. And, of course, it is playable still in the mid lane, but this is a gauntlet being thrown by Evil Geniuses. They are saying whoever plays this is going to be one of the main characters.
And Chime now going on to the Nautilus. So you have your two marksmen, you have the Gwen, which can work well for getting a lot of that kind of splash damage into a lot of these team fights, and the side lane control you can do when you wish to contest on that end. But it's getting followed through with an Ahri and a Nautilus, and this pairing is a little bit classic right here, because the hook sets up the charm so easily.
Yeah, you have a lot of tools coming out from Golden Guardians to get these pick start. Now, the full-on team fights are still very focused on Chime, but we know that this is going to be Surdy going with the Yone. It's been a counter pick to Gwen once before by Vital. Now it's going to be Surdy bringing it into Concept up in the top lane, and I think it's a really cool adaptation coming through from Surdy. He was saying he's trying to understand his role in different team compositions. Sometimes he just needs to be the rock, but this is a game where he needs to be the carry. He's looking to gap the opposing side, and I said he'll get 3 solo kills over the course of these next 2 games. This is a great champion to try and do it with.
But I really, really do like the pick that you got from Golden Guardians. I had mentioned it ago. It is the Nautilus alongside the Ahri. It's a very simple pick combo. When you do the hook, it sets up the easiest charm you could possibly possibly land. I forgot what team was using it very recently that just abused living daylights out of it. I believe it was FlyQuest. I'll have to double check on that later. It might have been TSM, but it is a deadly combo to go with. And with everything they have, all the damage that they have backing their composition, these picks can really add up.
Yeah, it was Mia and Takeover who played this combination yesterday, and they definitely had a lot of damage coming through. It wasn't enough to win them the game, but it is still something that is going to have a lot of attention paid to it. Now, I think one of the things that I really like about the Evil Geniuses roster is they have what I like to call a threat overload. You have so many different champions that can do damage that taking off one of them just means that all the others are going to be able to hit. And so it really allows Kaori to kind of showcase what he can do, how good is his positioning going to be during these team fights, because he's on the Ezreal. He can move really quickly around the battlefield.
I'm going to be excited for this one when we hit the Rift, because not only that, once we get into the team fight phase, there's devastating team fight for Evil Geniuses that Golden Guardians are going to have to respond to. So many of these tools go together so well. I mean, just the fact that you have a Lissandra that can hold down with that W to set up the Cyclone for this Wukong. The damage that follows through with the Yone, this is nasty for the team fight.
And we'll see what they can actually do with it, right? It is a gauntlet being thrown by Evil Geniuses. One of these teams is going to turn their fortunes around. At least one's 0-4. One of them is going to end up with their first win of the season. So we'll see what they are actually going to be able to do. There's a lot of tools available coming out for both sides. A lot of skirmish power is available on both teams. And the big players that we always got to pay attention to, Eric, at the beginning of the game, you should know this. You're one of them. It's junglers. Where are Tomio and Acadian going to go? Is they going to continue going bottom lane in order to support their bots, or are they going to try and tip the balance of power up here on the top side?
And that is a better question, as we did have the Callista ban earlier. We didn't have a Lucian go through this time, so we're not having those super killer lanes. We're just having more hard shove. How will the junglers react to that is a very good question.
Well, it looks like Tomio is going to be opting to go towards the bottom side of the map, right? We've been seeing him a little bit more going for these clears rather than just the same kind of just raw ganking that we know that he used to try. And it also means that by pulling back and having Sturdy come here, Concept is going to get control of the lane at the very beginning of the game. Whereas because Acadian is starting without a leash, you definitely see a bit more of a skirmish right off the bat coming from Kaori Smoothie versus Chime and Array.
And once Saligo hits level 6, the roam ability of Lissandra, or even the gank ability into that mid lane that Tomio can get for choose. With the Spirit Rush regardless, you put the Frozen Tomb on, that's crowd control. You press the W, that's crowd control. That's enough time to be held down to take down Inari.
Yep, both junglers currently implying that they're going to be going for a full clear red Krugs into Raptors, and you already see Tomio declaring where he's going to be going next. But Acadian, he's cheating towards the other side. He's cheating towards the bottom lane. This is a level 2 gank right after 2 camps.
Oh, level 2 coming out from Acadian. So cheeky, but Chime couldn't get the auto to get the root. Gonna go after Smoothie now, almost within range. The Ignite goes down, and they can't finish off the kill. Golden Guardians trying to play in the bot lane. They do get some summoners.
The crazy thing here is because Chime didn't start with the hook, because he didn't hit level 2, he doesn't have any crowd control to actually secure either of those kills. So Acadian, yes, he gets the 2 flashes. That's a lot of time for Tomio to go farming. Tomio has a pretty big tempo lead, and it's on Golden Guardians to try and actually get something off of these flashes that they got. Otherwise, Acadian just used up a lot of time to not get anything.
Yeah, is that just a miscommunication coming in from the side of Golden Guardians? Because that level 2, having that hook, it's so valuable. Chime just went in for the flash auto and couldn't get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's partly that, but I think it's bigger that Kaori just responded instantly. He sees a flash come out of Chime, and he instantly counter flashes in order to break the opportunity for a root. Because Kaori has that reaction time and is ready for the auto attack, it doesn't go through. Not a lot of AD carries are going to be able to do that consistently, so that's a big shout out towards the side of Evil Genius's bottom lane to not fall prey to that play.
As we said, Kaori, he is mechanically gifted. An incredible marksman down in the bot lane for Evil Geniuses. Hasn't had too bad of a performance, even given the record that Evil Geniuses have amassed in these first 2 days.
Yeah. Also, while I'm at it, I kind of just want to give a small thing that I've been hearing a lot more about. We'll see what Tomio wants to do with this. He knows his bottom lane has no flashes, and he's behind them.
Yeah, Chime has no flash here, only has the Hex Flash. Tomio jumps in. Slows there, but it's very hard to take down on Nautilus. Does have that big, bulky shield from the W.
Yeah. really cheeky thing from Tomio, trying to use the clone to block Chime from being able to get the hook off. But the one thing I do want to see a little bit more, you're seeing that Tomio has already put his second point into his Q. A bit of hidden tech about Wukong is if you 3-point W earlier on, your clear becomes so much faster. So I'm curious if we're going to start seeing anybody integrate that into their Wukong gameplay, because it's a small thing, but it actually makes a big difference. But we'll get back to that a little bit later. We'll see what else Tomio does choose to do. He has just cleared out his camps, and now he and Acadian are back on the same kind of tempo play, but with no real pickups on either side of the map in terms of these actual early game plays. Kind of just going to go back to a fairly standard laning situation where Concept is trying to threaten to freeze up against Surdy.
It's kind of wild. We're actually having something calm for a change. This is what happens when you ban away Callista, Josh.
Yeah. I mean, Callista is pretty wild, but this is a bit of a rough position for Surdy, right? The fact that Concept got the early back off and now has the extra Doran's item, he can actually go for these fights where Surdy is just a little bit of gold behind for quite a while. Luckily for Surdy, Concept is going to be clearing out these minions, and it won't necessarily freeze in the spot he gets it underneath the turret. But that's about it. The game is very even, very quiet, I want to say, despite the fact that we've seen flashes blown. And I feel like that's going to be favoring Evil Geniuses as we start approaching the mid-game.
Trying to end that silence is going to be both junglers. Tomio, waiting in the brush. Can't really go on tonight yet. Waiting for that level 6. Frozen Tomb available now, but Choose too close to his tower. Instead, the rest of Evil Geniuses are going to path away for an invade. And bully out Acadian from his own jungle, still his camps. Claw goes in, but not willing to follow through is Saligo. And now a little bit of a skirmish between these two. Tomio, he likes to fight, likes to scrap. Will walk out after the steal.
Yeah, Choose calls, I have no mana, please don't go for this fight, I can't really help you, but Acadian still gets a little bit of damage in, and that's kind of the confidence you like to see from these more veteran players, just saying like, yeah, you know, even though I can't kill you, I'm going to do some damage because it doesn't cost me anything. I have the jungler privilege, I'm going to go back, I'm going to get all of my mana just by existing in the jungle. But this allows Evil Geniuses to take control of the bottom side of the map. They know Array and Chime are backing away, and the Ocean Dragon going to be going over towards Evil Geniuses. But nothing too big still has happened yet on the map. We're waiting for these players to get more items underneath their belt. And again, the mid game is going to be a huge spike coming out for Evil Geniuses. When Ezreal hits those 2 items, when Wukong's got his completed Divine Sunderer, that's when Evil Geniuses can really start taking over the game.
Love that double invade that went off by Evil Geniuses. It's small plays like that, but chasing a jungler into a different quadrant enables something else. Now, speaking of quadrants, looking over on that top side, a deep invade coming out from Golden Guardians. It's spotted out by Saligo.
Yeah.
But it seems like a fight's breaking out over on that top side. Fortunately, we can get the camera over there. There we go. Saligo now forced to back out. Yeah. Any summoners burnt? It's going to be a no. Just walking out from this fight. The still comes in. Acadian does have a red buff.
Ooh, Saligo has no claw. Will be able to walk away from that one. But a lot of people don't realize that League of Legends is a turn-based game, right? Whenever you push forward for something, you're going to have to back up in order to get all of your minions to make sure that you're clearing your own side of the jungle, and that gives your opponents an opportunity to try and do something as well. The fact that Acadian and Choose recognizing that, instantly going towards the top side, knowing that Tomio picks up the dragon, and punishing him for that at least a little bit, is props to Golden Guardians. Like, they've played the macro game fairly well, they just haven't been able to get it into a micro situation where they're winning the fights afterwards.
Now look at Evil Geniuses right here. They're trying to get a lot of setup towards this bottom lane. As we said, you have a lot of hard shove when it comes to this Ezreal and this Karma. But look at this dive potential. Lissandra, Wukong. If they get underneath that tower, it's a lot of crowd control and damage. Can set up a pretty good dive, but this is the response coming out of Golden Guardians. They're monitoring that area very closely.
We'll see what they do choose to do. Now, because we have been kind of quiet for a little while, I want to take an opportunity to kind of remark on some of the things that Sturdy was saying about the fact that Smoothie has come in, right? One of the important things that these more veteran players always bring to the table is they bring in practices they've learned elsewhere. Like, they work with other coaches, they have ideas and ways of getting better that you might not have thought about on your own.
Yeah.
And that's been really helpful for them overall. He's helping them decide how to play different parts of the game, the early game and mid game. But the big thing that I thought was really funny coming out from Surdy about the thing that Smoothie's helping with is he's improving the vibes.
He's improving the vibes.
Yeah, he's just, it's a more fun atmosphere to play in while Smoothie is there. And right now, we'll see if it pays off. Are his vibes enough?
Ooh, all right. Already going to be picked up by Tomio, who comes in with the Cyclone. Followed through with Saligo in the Frozen Tomb. A pickup as First Blood gets acquired by Array. Going to chase away the evil geniuses, but here comes Choose. And here comes Concept looking for Tomio. Gets the charm onto Tomio. Array grabs another kill. Now walking over towards this top side. Evil geniuses forced to retreat underneath and take the recall.
Vibes aren't enough to save you this time around, as we do see Cowrie on the far side of the map choosing not to participate in this. This was something that was very typical of Team Liquid previously, but now Evil Geniuses are going to be getting a little bit of extra money going over towards their bottom lane. And we'll see how much of a CS lead he actually has once their scoreboard gets fixed, but he gets himself 2 plates off of that play. And so the gold lead ends up being about the same, because we know that Tomio or whoever on Evil Geniuses actually managed to pick up the Eye of the Herald. They're going to be getting at least a kill's worth of gold shared between them and whoever else is in the area.
Yeah, hopefully the scoreboard fix can come in. As we take another look at that play, Choose trying really hard for this engage right here, but look at the wombo combo from Tomio and Sligo.
Yeah, both sides of the fight instantly dive onto different members. There's not a whole lot that Graves can do, there's not a whole lot that the Karma can do, and when you have this kind of instant dump of damage immediately, because so many ultimates were used on the Evil Geniuses side, they don't have anything left in the tank, whereas Choose has got that reset, right? He's got that extra dash, he's ready to go again, he's more useful on the charm than anything else.
Surdy caught out by Concept and Acadian. Acadian will acquire that kill. So another play coming out from Golden Guardians. Acadian, despite everything, despite all the pathing that Tomio's been putting onto him, tracking him, cutting out his jungle, Acadian's still able to find plays on this top side, but Tomio has his attention into the bottom lane and is going to put down Shelly. Here we go, Tomio looking to come in. Saligo gets the root onto Array, and he is gone. A shutdown coming in for Cowrie.
There you go, good play coming through. The Rift ult is going to be crashing. That's going to be 2 kills effectively going over after the Herald. And if they're able to get this turret as well, that's going to be even more money coming through. So definitely a big boon from Evil Geniuses being the first one to make this dive play in the side lanes. But it is getting traded out, right? That only works because of the pressure that was put up top lane towards Surdy. It's the team-based game, or a turn-based game, and Evil Geniuses are doing what they need to make sure they can take their turn.
All right, finally got the update on the scoreboard to see what's going on and see where the kills are allocated. Marksmen of Golden Guardians are picking it all up. You got 2 kills coming out for Array, 1 kill coming out from Acadian. Looking at the allocation, it is matched opposite ways, just Marksmen and Jungles grabbing kills.
Yeah, it feels like another one of these arms races that we were talking about, but Golden Guardians are going to be picking up another jungle, another dragon this time around. And with this game still very even, it hangs in the balance. I was saying that, nice
charm, followed by a chain of CC thanks to Array. A couple more shots in, but Saligo with 200 health, not enough to get him to drop. Acadian now searching in this area. He has pinged up for that invade towards the red.
Acadian just recognizing that because they bring Array up, get those heals, get the roots, he's ready to play for this red buff, and seeing who else is going to try and challenge him. Again, Golden Guardians moving up towards the top side, denying Tomio several camps at this point. And with another red buff getting picked up by Golden Guardians, that really hurts the economy coming through in general on how you're actually trying to play this Wukong. You really need to come into this mid game with power, but he's got the Divine Sunderer. They still have the Trinity Force completed onto Cowrie, so this is their opportunity to try and make a bunch of fights happen. They just need to start grouping up and trying to force things. This is when they can start looking for those picks using Saligo's ultimate.
And thanks to that tower picked up early, Cowrie got that Trinity Force rather early. And with that, you can see the collection coming in from Evil Geniuses as they go towards this mid-river. Tomio having to back out, but here is Cowrie. He brings a lot of damage with these Mystic shots right now, having that first item completed. On the flank is Surdy, but not willing to go for the pincer maneuver. Golden Guardians chase out.
It feels like both these teams are looking for opportunities to, just outplay their opponents, but it doesn't feel as though it's as coordinated. We've seen several coordinated dives coming out from Golden Guardians, but it was
not as committed, too.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that we were looking at with Golden Guardians. They were very good at making the plays happen in the first place, but they weren't always committing to finalizing the kills. That's why Team Liquid got away with 100 HP 4 or 5 times in their games on Wednesday, and now Golden Guardians, they want to make sure nothing like that happens again. So the places where they suddenly have strength, right? Array, your boy, looking pretty good, has already got the Umbral Glaive completed, but Acadian going with the Gore Drinker style build, he's going to try and be this front line for his team as well, and allow Choose and Array to really be the damage threats.
And with this frontline build on the Graves, there's some interesting things you can really do with it being so deep into the fight, but the response to the Wukong to try and take that down as fast as possible is something that has kind of showed up yesterday. Just bursting damage onto Tomio as fast as possible as he goes into that Cyclone mode. Graves is pretty decent at getting that burst for it.
Not with this build. Not with the Gore Drinker. He doesn't do a whole lot of burst right now, right? You just sit there and you want to take these fights as long as possible. But he does have plenty of other members that can do that for him, Eric. He's got the Concept, he's got Choose, he's got Array, who can all lock him down and pick him on over time. But the Charm...
Ooh, there's the Charm onto Tomio. Here comes the Cyclone. Array forced to flash away. Cyclone number 2 goes out, gets it onto Chime. Flash burnt out. Choose goes back in. Orb of Deception looking for Tomio. Can't take him down. Finally lands it. 1 down. Golden Guardians get the team fight win and are looking for more. Charm not going to land from Choose. Evil Geniuses losing out on the fight.
Evil Geniuses were the one that started that. We were looking towards this mid-game is when they were really coming alive, but a great Charm coming out from Choose, instantly catching Tomio and slowing them down, making it so hard for them to play the rest of the fight. But it also means that Golden Guardians are going to be getting this Rift Herald on the backside. So they are going to be pulling slightly ahead at this point. They're looking for opportunities to try and crash this, open up the map, and allow the more pick-based composition you were setting up at the beginning. The Nautilus and Ahri pairing can take so much control of the jungle when this mid lane turret actually falls.
So now taking stock of how this game has been going off, Gold staying towards the even side 15 minutes into this, but it is going to be Golden Guardians who are a little bit more effective on the map as we take another look at how that went off. Choose going pretty deadly with this one. Tomio so deep for the Cyclone.
Oh my gosh, that was blind too. He knew that Wukong was over there, but he didn't know when he was going to try and make the play. He just ends up being right, so that's a huge props for him. But the other thing that we haven't necessarily touched on just quite yet is the fact that this cleanse from Choose is paying off so much. There's only one crowd control that you realistically have to worry about for the side of Golden Guardians that is cleansable, and that is Soligo's ultimate. And Soligo can't ult Choose during these fights until the cleanse is down, but he doesn't have to use the cleanse until you throw out the W. You have to already be on top of the Ahri in order to get him to worry about you whatsoever. So it feels like Soligo is in a really tough situation, and Choose is just, with his summoner spell choice, having so much more impact. We knew that even up against Team Liquid he found multiple kills. Now he's 1-0-2. Will he be able to turn this into a victory when he wasn't able to do it before?
I mean, while the cleanse is down right now, so is that Frozen Tomb on Lysandra. And this is an important thing to pull up because Dragon is available. The ping's coming out from Evil Geniuses. They are going into that direction. Golden Guardians don't even bother with it. They're looking to go towards the top side and activate Concept, going right after Surdy, who was just trying to get the golems, man. How rude. Cadian grabs the kill, and they're looking for the tower.
Yeah, he thought he was safe for sure, but he doesn't respect the fact that they are not contesting the Dragon. They are playing somewhere else on the map, and unfortunately, Surdy, I thought he was going to have a good time into Concept, but it looks like Concept still has his number. Several solo kills were the way that Concept was playing previous times these guys met, but this time, it's going to be with the rest of his team, a little help from his friends, and now Golden Guardians, they crash into the second turret, and if they get this, that is so much money. First turret goes down, that's a kill. They get 2 more kills off this next turret, they get an actual kill. That's like 4 kills worth of gold that they just traded for 1 Dragon, but now Evil Genius is trying to turn the tide.
They're trying. They're going to collapse on the Acadian. Choose is over there. Choose has to back out, though, realizing there's 3 members of Evil Geniuses, and Soligo coming quickly. Surdy coming faster, doesn't get the ultimate, doesn't get the knockup. Comes through, Surdy looking for more, finally able to find it. Cadian goes in the air, but there's no members of Evil Geniuses to follow through.
Crazy stuff coming through. Evil Geniuses trying to pick off the members of Golden Guardians, but Golden Guardians not going to be going down. That's how tanky this Acadian build is, right? He's in the middle of multiple members, and he's like, yeah, whatever. I got my Gore Drinker, I got my Warden's Mail completed. Yeah, I just don't take that much damage, and with only Soligo for magic damage realistically on the side of Evil Geniuses, Acadian's build of this Warden's Mail is actually really, really effective. So I feel like Golden Guardians are just piloting their composition a little bit more accurately than the members of Evil Geniuses. And if Golden Guardians can continue doing that, it's going to mean that they should be in a dominant position. They're getting through this part of the mid game where Evil Genius have come online, and they're doing it with advantages.
18 minutes into this, Golden Guardians starting to look good, and I've been pretty impressed by Choose so far. Now that he's on this Ahri, you know, it is the coach in that position. We've been waiting for a little bit more of a pop-off to come off from him, but really biding his time with a lot of these charms, really being patient with a lot of these charms, and it is getting Golden Guardians some footing here. Evil Genius is now just grouping around the mid lane, as there's nothing to really go for. We still have quite a bit of time before we get any neutral objectives up. No one really going to go after Baron, given the next 30 seconds, but give the right team fight, who knows, maybe. Still in the top lane, you have Concept pushing very hard. Everyone else just kind of culminating towards this mid lane with a split push on Sligo in the bot.
Yeah, oh.
Here we go now. Comes the knock-up. Acadian over the wall, tries to find more. Tomio, Cyclone, flashes, still alive. Chu gonna follow through, says, uh-oh, no, want none of that, and Cowrie gives them all of it. 30 with the chase on to Array. Wants to take down my stud, wants to take down Action Jackson, but he is too fast. He will walk out. Cowrie with a couple of Mystic shots, and look at the setup coming from Evil Geniuses. They're looking for the dive. They're surrounding Tomio with the angle. Saligo just waiting for the claw. And now the engage comes through. Claw over the wall, gets the W onto Chime. A couple of picks on the Chime. It's just chipping away at his health bar. Not enough to take him down. Now Tomio running away from Acadian, realizing the buckshot's a little bit too strong for the monkey. Here comes the Frozen Tomb, but the collateral damage puts Saligo low. Golden Guardians giving chase to Evil Geniuses, but the escape made.
Yeah, the fact that there's not enough magic damage to actually push through Acadian is really hurting Evil Geniuses. He's able to frontline for his team without any worry. Yes, Cowrie does a lot of damage with that ultimate, but it's not enough to actually take anybody down. Even when they find the one pick, even when Choose gets too big for his britches, Evil Geniuses hasn't been able to capitalize on it just quite yet. They finally get the mid lane turret, but the gold lead is still bang on even. We know the Senna gets stronger later on. The Graves will slowly be able to take over these fights instead of just surviving them. And I feel like as this game gets later, Golden Guardians has a lot more tools. They have more ability to just burst people out because Choose and Chime can play so effectively together.
And as we get towards the later stages of this, I mean, we're 21 minutes into this, and this is still a pretty even game, Josh. I'm surprised at the way of the flow that this game has been going. So competitive between each other. Both of these teams have been struggling to get their first win. And between each other, they are putting on quite the display.
Yeah, it is still pretty even, like you said. I think we have been seeing a little bit more decisiveness coming out from Golden Guardians, or at least a little bit more effective decisiveness, right? They've been going for plays that have rewarded them with big opportunities. They got the 2 turrets top lane, whereas Evil Geniuses, they've had a couple dives that they went for. The first one in the bottom lane was successful, but the one in the mid lane, they just got turned around, and now they're going to start running into issues where they won't have the damage left anymore, right? Look at the fact that Acadian's second item is Frozen Heart.
Oh, that's a great route to go through on Smoothie. The depth charge Acadian shoots him down. And now a one-man lost coming out from Evil Geniuses. Golden Guardians circling the dragon that is available. Saligo will just take the recall. Doesn't want to take that flank. Gonna forfeit the dragon over to Golden Guardians.
Forfeit it over. Golden Guardians taking control. Acadian super fast moving around. This might actually be a dive. They might not even do the dragon yet. They want to find another one.
Yeah, they're going right after Cowrie. They're probably expecting that Acadian would be over at the Drake. Set up this dive. Would be intense, but instead, Acadian wants to play it safe. Just grab the neutral resource, even up the Drakes.
Even up the dragons. Really put Evil Geniuses' goals of stacking those behind, and it feels really tough to be a Evil Geniuses fan right in this moment because they've tried to make a couple plays, but Tomio is super weak. And now the players that I want to look at, it's Saligo, right? The player that we said we needed to watch at the beginning of the day. He needs to find an effective ultimate. He needs to get that first kill in order to start summoning those frozen thralls. Otherwise, you know, the magic damage isn't there. Concept has this plated steel caps. Acadian's got the Frozen Heart. There's plenty of bits of armor on the side of Golden Guardians that makes it so difficult for Evil Geniuses to actually get damage through in this composition. And as I start to move forward, as I start to take more control of the map with the turrets starting to go down, the pick potential is always going to be in favor of Golden Guardians.
Always going to be in favor of them. You've seen what Choose can do with that charm. He lands it. It's almost guaranteed a kill. As Choose heads over towards that top side, Concept in the bot lane. You still have Baron that's been available for quite some time, and you see the setup that's kind of coming out from Evil Geniuses right now on the flank. Tomio trying to set up, but got a ward right there, still able to sweep it out. Deep vision coming out from Evil Geniuses, and they're really playing with this jungle of Golden Guardians.
They have to, but they're getting spotted.
Oh, Choose going right after Tomio. They meet each other, and they're tired of that arrangement right there. Acadian just trying to reclaim his jungle.
He's able to claim his jungle. He was able to claim. Okay.
Oh, is he? Is he? Is he? Oh, is he? That's the question right now. So much damage onto Acadian. He gets bursted down. A shutdown coming through, picked up by Surdy. Sligo with the chase gets the Everfrost onto Array. True Shot Barrage and the Frozen Tomb. It is complete doom right now and gloom for Golden Guardians as Evil Geniuses head for the Baron.
For such a controlled game so far from Golden Guardians, that was a huge unforced error. He knows, he saw them on vision. He knows there are multiple people on that side of the map. He sees Surdy and Tomio. They clear out the vision. Where are they going to be? They could be mid lane, I suppose, but he's just like walks right into them. That's the kind of play we cannot be making as one of the people that we're trying to hype up as a potential LCS returner. You gotta be a bit more disciplined than that, because you finally gave Evil Geniuses the lead they've been looking for the past 5 minutes.
I can't believe that he jumped into the hand of Evil Geniuses. 3 members right there. You know, he did last for quite some time thanks to that Frozen Heart and Gourd Drinker.
Yeah, some guys have problems with that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that one. That's too good, man. Why are you doing this to me, Josh? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, you know, he did a good job, but it's also like that's kind of been a recurring theme so far. A lot of our junglers have unfortunately been making these similar mistakes, just being a little bit more confident hopping over walls. And Acadian, he knows he messed up. He knows that that's not something that they can afford to let happen again. But Evil Geniuses, now that they have the Baron buff, they can start pushing. There's not a lot of effective wave clear, and it creates an incredibly new dynamic. Uh-oh, Tomio, don't make the same mistake!
Tomio, wrong place to be, friend. Acadian gets another kill. Surdy over the wall, looking to run away from the engage that's coming out of Golden Guardians right now. Cowrie Truce out to shoot. True Shot Barrage. Choose over the wall, tries to grab another. Orbital Deception's going to land onto Surdy, and he exists no longer as Concept grabs that kill.
You're kidding me. The exact same mistake coming out from Evil Geniuses that they just got their lead off of, right? They were the ones who just punished Acadian, but now Tomio and I think it was Smoothie Surdy was just a little bit too far forward. They get caught out with multiple members trying to get set up so that they don't have pressure on the rest of the map. They don't actually control the jungle just quite yet. And so Golden Guardians, you know, they were having a really rough time. They were going to really struggle dealing with this Baron buff, but all of that pressure that they had just built up dashed once again because our junglers are just too far forward.
And Saligo playing towards his bottom side now. Not going to take the recall right away. Going to make sure that these lanes stay constantly pushed for Evil Geniuses to give some sort of lane state advantage over to them, considering we have 50 seconds before that dragon spawns.
And this can really be a make or break moment for the side of Evil Geniuses. They really need to be able to find these kills. They need to be able to win this team fight to 1, get themselves another dragon, but to put themselves back in advantage. And they have about 40 seconds left of the actual Baron buff, but that's not going to be enough in order to actually get yet another structure. They're going to be playing with what they have right now. And remember we were saying about how they were missing out on a little bit of damage? Cowrie's choosing to go with a Frozen Heart. Yes, it's going to stop a lot of damage coming out from Golden Guardians, but that's not been your problem. Your problem has been you're not able to kill anybody on the other side of the field. They got to be able to do that, and it's going to be now on Cowrie that he's choosing his defensive item to keep himself alive and make sure he can do a crazy amount of DPS this fight.
Ooh, Evil Geniuses are trying so hard to get this engaged. They go onto Array. Cyclone onto Array. Everyone collapses onto Array. Sligo grabs 1 kill. Acadian getting that buckshot in, but here comes the Cyclone and here comes the knockup coming out of Surdy. Acadian grabs another one. It's going to be Tomio as Acadian so low. The tether's onto him. Smoothie will flash over, and so will Cowrie. Another kill picked up by Cowrie. Hunts down Choose. 1 more to go, and it's a triple kill picked up by Cowrie.
The twin carries of Evil Geniuses finally coming through. Surdy starts us off in a big way. He catches multiple people in the ultimate, but Cowrie, after that, taking a page out of Jan's book, just going right over the wall, trying to get all those auto attacks through, and I don't think they can actually go for an end, but picking up an inhibitor, picking up the dragon, grabbing so much gold all at once is a huge win for Evil Geniuses. I said Cowrie needed to step up, and he did just that.
Cowrie, what a performance right there. 6-0-3 has yet to die, but on a great team fight for Evil Geniuses to make this the potential breaking point.
Crazy stuff coming through, and that time it wasn't just a simple catch. They just saw Array Action Jackson a little bit too far forward, a little bit saber from the team, and Tomio was able to actually punish it. So
look at that
as
gold
they
lead.
Take control. Look at the gold lead. It's absolutely massive. Seventh. I mean, part of it is Senna, right? Senna just has less gold than most other AD carries, but it's still huge. You take a look at the fact that he's got 15,000 gold, and the highest on the side of Golden Guardians is 11,000 on Acadian. He is so rich. He doesn't complete another item. He still got the same number of items, but he is just so far ahead of the curve at this point. Cowrie needs to be the hero that Evil Geniuses needed.
Golden Guardians are trying so hard to push this lane all the way forward. Because if they don't, if those super minions start going to the base, is Bear in time? Here comes a hook coming out of Charm. Acadian tries to follow through. Cowrie still on the backside. Smoothie's going to be alive. One picked up. Cowrie godlike. Tomio still up there, but finally gets targeted. He goes into the clone mode, and he's going to be perfectly okay. Asserty finds Choose. Concept hits the ground. Over the wall follows Saligo, looking for Acadian, who is oh so low. It is oh so doomed. Another kill picked up. Evil Geniuses. They're going to end that loss streak and take their first win.
Yeah, I would hope objective bounties are available soon, because Cowrie just got a quadra kill off the back of that. 10-0-3. He was having a bit of a slow game prior to this, but on the last two fights of the game, Cowrie steps up, he positions perfectly, he takes almost no damage, and he dishes it out. This is the most valuable prospect candidate we were looking for. This is Evil Geniuses stepping up, and this is Evil Geniuses getting their first win of the season.
And it is not too late. You can join the Cowrie fan club. 10-0-3. Around 10 minutes, 9 minutes, he was already picking up his Trinity Force thanks to that tower going down in the bottom lane. Tomio focusing down there so much, investing for good reason, because he knew what Cowrie was capable of.
Yeah, absolutely crazy stuff. I loved watching him play around the other side of the actual wall there, making sure that nobody on Golden Guardians could actually touch him, and staying in pseudo fog of war, where between auto attacks he could move between and dodging potential skill shots. There was no way he was going to die, and then towards the very end he starts coming online, recognizing there's no skill shots, there's no crowd control left on the other side. I can do whatever I want, and Cowrie able to dish out the DPS. Great stuff coming through. I was worried for Evil Geniuses, but now I feel like those have all been assuaged.
Yeah, he kind of creeped into that fight because we didn't see too much coming out from him in the early stages of this game. It was back and forth between these two squads. You can't even give this fully over to Evil Geniuses, as it was a battle. Golden Guardians did try to bring the fight as best as they could. You know, you saw a lot of that coming out from Acadian on this Graves, who was always in the face of everyone and delivering those shots.
Yeah, great stuff. I love watching this Evil Geniuses roster really come together. Now, there's still some things for them to kind of shore up, right? You can't afford to be making these unforced errors, giving over opportunities for Golden Guardians to get back into the game. But when push comes to shove, they have so much talent, right? Surdy stepped up in the team fight that they needed to. Cowrie stepped up twice during these team fights. And when they let their opponents make mistakes, you're going to be finding a lot of wins. We saw that working for 100 Thieves yesterday. We're seeing it working for Evil Geniuses today.
All right, so with that game one done, we are going to get our host back, Sierra. Take a quick break because we got a little intermission just waiting to happen with some fun and games, so be sure to stay tuned.